Everyone's doing well. I finally got the game working! Woo. At least I hope it's working. So we're gonna continue more of this today. And we'll see how far we could get along with that. I still plan on doing like one session for each client today, like I did last time. So I think that's like 4 sessions. Plus my own, of course. So, I guess we'll just get right to it. It's a little later than usual just because, like, I had a lot of stuff to do, and you would not believe the bad luck I had tonight. It was a lot. Hopefully we can just relax. Some like relaxation tonight. Playing a vampire therapist game seems nice right about now.
Yeah, you got any drinker's blood?
I know you are joking. You will not dilute your blood before a session.
Yeah, I know, you're right. I just don't know who I'm meeting tonight. Is it gonna be Dr. Drain or that Lord Lourdes fella?
You only met a single individual last time, and you will meet only a single individual this time. Do not let Dr. Drain's avoidance of accountability confuse you.
You saw the guy, though. Lord Lourdes ain't nothing like Dr. Drain.
And why do you think that is, Samuel?
It's easier for Dr. Drain to blame Lourdes.
Well, maybe it's easier for Dr. Drain to blame Lord Lourdes.
Correct, Samuel. A mild change in personality would be within Dr. Drain's control. Lourdes is not, and therefore, Dr. Drain relinquishes control. Prepare yourself, my friend. Let us find the darkness that lives within Dr. Drain.
Like there's like new stuff, right? Labeling. Qualifying positive, generalization, and always right.
Alright, I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Do not fear, Samuel. I shall not let Dr. Drain hurt you, no matter what he is calling himself. Do what you do best.
I will, I promise. And here he comes, whoever he is today. Doc.
Hi, Doc. How are you?
Somewhat taciturn today, then. Well, don't be upset with me. I did warn you about that beast. At least now you recognize the urgency in being rid of him. Perhaps now we can stop beating about the bush and actually fix my addiction problem.
I'm here to help, but if we're gonna lick this thing, we gotta do it honestly. And that means getting to the root of the problem.
I tire of this self-examination process. There must be something efficacious that I can do. Perhaps some sort of aversion therapy.
Aversion therapy.
I am willing to do whatever it takes to make that villain just go away.
Then you gotta be willing to address the big old elephant in the room.
And what is that?
You and Lord Lourdes are the same person.
You and Lord Lourdes ain't two different people. You keep talking about him like he's someone else, but you both got the same brain in there.
Complete and utter nonsense. You've met him. We share absolutely nothing in common. And what's more, I am fully aware that he hates me. Take a look at this note he left on my desk.
That's supposed to be you there with the micro penis?
I need to take a screenshot of that. That is... I need to share this with my friends. What a nerd.
Indeed. Juvenile humor, to be sure. Certainly nothing I would produce.
Ain't he got the same penis, though?
Quite so. I have no doubt he does the most terrible things with it.
Oh yeah, he does the most terrible things with your wiener.
So somehow he's got a different brain than you do, but the same penis. Something ain't adding up here, Doc.
I resent what you are suggesting. I have no effect on what Lord Luridus does.
Ain't you giving Lord Luridus your permission to come in and do what he does when you take that plasma stuff?
I didn't invite him in the first time. I had no idea what I had created. That his presence would become an addiction was not known to me.
Dr. Drain, you're a scientist. Your stock and trade is in facts, ain't it? Let's leave thought out of this for now. You gotta be my scientist here and stick to what we know.
Very well. Yes. The genesis of Lord Luridus was in the actions and choices I took. Are you quite satisfied?
Doc, we ain't here for my satisfaction. Do you really think that?
Well, the fact that I am upset right now certainly lends credence to the idea that you are trying to shame me.
I won't lie to you, Doc. The people that Lord Luridus has hurt probably would have a bone to pick with you. But I ain't here to punish nobody. That ain't the way to help you. In this room, we're working together. You're doing the hard work, and I'm just giving you support. Catch my drift, partner?
And so you do me even greater shame through kindness. I cannot win. Perhaps I should simply let that beast, Lord Luridus, have his way with me.
Come on now, Doc. You're jumping right to doom there. There are so many ways this therapy thing could go for you. It ain't we destroy Lord Luridus or Lord Luridus wins. Jumping right to catastrophe just ain't realistic. Already you're fighting him by being here. That means there's definitely something in the middle. And working together, we'll make things better. Maybe not completely better. This work ain't never done.
Of course, I am forgetting myself. I'm not usually prone to extremes. I shall attempt to be more mindful.
I ain't expecting you to be perfect, Doc. And I don't want you to expect perfection from yourself either. What I'm asking you for is self-compassion. That ain't erasing blame. It's just approaching yourself from a place of understanding.
I doubt many in the scientific community would agree with such a statement, but I believe I understand the thrust of it. We cannot address facts if we mask them in emotionality.
That's exactly it, Doc. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Indeed. Thus my attempt to synthesize the thought properly.
Well, thank the dark powers that made us. Someone in here's the smart one.
Very well. We shall take a strategic, scientifically sound approach. We will agree upon facts, develop hypotheses, test and validate. If I rely on the science, I will never be wrong.
I think this is always right.
Hold on a sec. Before we jump in, Doc, I gotta challenge you. Even science ain't gonna make it certain you're always right. The answers science gives you might not be the answers that are best for you. I just want you to keep your mind open, all right?
My mind is always open. I'm a scientist.
I'm just gonna reflect that back to you and see if you think that's true. You're saying being a scientist means your mind is always, without fail, open.
Yeah, that's not true.
Well, I suppose that sounds a bit ridiculous. Very well. I shall endeavor to ensure that my thinking is flexible.
Well, sounds good to me, compadre. Let's start assembling them facts. Can I ask you some questions then?
You may. Let us begin.
Alright, so you told me that the thing that makes your plasma addicting is how good it makes you feel when you wake up from it. From your scientific perspective, what makes it feel good?
From a chemical perspective, good feelings, or positive emotions, are the result of neurotransmitter action. Considering the specific emotions felt in the immediate moment are contentment and satisfaction, it is certain that I am experiencing an oxytocin and dopamine release. It is a primal limbic response. In laboratory settings, we observe a constant drive in animals towards stimulating the release of amygdala-receptive neurotransmitters.
I think you're gonna need to boil that down for me, Doc.
I did not come here to teach, but so be it. Ask your questions.
Limbic system?
What's the limbic system do?
The limbic system functions as the emotional center of the brain, responsible for emotional responses such as joy, fear, and anger.
So it's like the part of my brain deciding if I should be scared of a rattlesnake or happy about a belly full of blood?
That sounds about right.
Precisely. It plays a crucial role in forming memories and making decisions based on emotional experiences. Often called the lizard brain, it's evolutionarily one of the older parts of the brain, indicating its fundamental role in regulating survival instincts.
I've been called lizard brain before, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a compliment.
What about neurotransmitters?
What's this about neurotransmitters?
Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that neurons use to communicate with each other. For example, social bonding reliably triggers a release of oxytocin, creating a sense of security and attachment.
So, if I'm reading you right, when I'm feeling all snug after a good feed, it's them oxytocin neurotransmitters doing their thing?
Exactly. This process is an integral part of our brain's reward system, encouraging behaviors that are perceived as beneficial for our survival and well-being.
So, survival feels good, basically.
Yes, though I would not publish such a statement in an academic paper.
So what's all this stuff really mean in the end, Doc? Why's this neurotransmitter stuff even matter?
An intriguing question. Naturally, emotion does not have a practical evolutionary application on its own. However, these emotions signal to the reptilian brain whether or not we are under threat.
Oh, well, dang, now I think we're getting somewhere. I think the answer's right in front of us.
Oh? And what is it that your rooting, tooting brain can synthesize that mine cannot?
I mean, the last one seems the most competent.
You don't feel safe on your own. Taking that plasma forces you to get that neurotransmitter hit.
An intriguing theory. However, evidence stands against it. Like it or not, I am a vampire. The only thing that may threaten me is the sun or a more powerful vampire. I should not be experiencing feelings of mortal danger. I am not immortal. Logically, I should know such a thing is ridiculous.
Should statement.
There's them should statements again, Doc. It doesn't matter what logic says. You still got that part of your brain that says it's in danger, and that part doesn't care about logic.
An astute point, and an inconvenient one. That we should be saddled with such vestigial, primal concerns is most unfortunate.
Can't avoid the fact that we still got them human concerns. At least we don't gotta poop, huh?
Oh dear, and you are doing so well. At least I have nothing to fear from you.
It's true, though. We're still animals, partner. We gotta satisfy the animal. Just not through pooping.
But we are immortal. Why do we have animal needs, fears, and emotions? What possible use do they have?
Is this overgeneralization?
Poor Dr. Drain is diminishing the entire human, or rather animal.
But we are immortal.
Sometimes, Doc, you are just too smart for your own good. You're logicking away all the good things about being human. I mean, let's say we freed ourselves from those biological concerns. Got rid of all them fears and insecurities and quirks. Why are we doing anything then? I don't know about you, Doc, but I don't want to turn into a computer. All them great discoveries and works of art came from our humanity.
Perhaps it is so. Do you know, I met Isaac Newton several times. The young fellow was motivated indeed, but it was his human vindictiveness that made him so effective. All those motherfuckers who called me a nerd are going to pay, mark my words, he would say. Or something along those lines.
So, he was making sure none of those motherfuckers could hurt him.
That was certainly part of it. It was not just a love of science that drove the man. It is such a disappointing notion, however, to think that we cannot transcend our reptilian brain, even when we are beyond death.
We're dealing in facts, though, and I think what we're coming to is that your reptilian brain doesn't feel safe.
Which is absolutely ridiculous, but I must admit that it is somehow true. What a devastating revelation. Dr. Drain, for all his scientific achievement, is just an emotional little laboratory
That's
rat
not
who
true.
bases all his decisions in fear.
It's disqualifying positive.
Man, you just jump right to that extreme. You're probably the smartest fella I ever met, Doc. You ain't a science god, but who is?
Yeah, exactly. Like, just because your lizard brain is going on haywire doesn't mean you're not smart, that you're not capable of anything.
I think there's a lot of room between being a lab rat and being the perfect logical being.
You are, of course, correct. I am letting my emotions get the better of me. Most unscientific.
Doc, I want to go back to one of them things I was telling you about in our first session. and that's self-compassion. Let's say you had some vampire apprentice, a scientist like you, who didn't know nothing like what you know, and said they were down on themselves for all the reasons you are. What would you say to them?
Well, I would explain that progress is non-linear. The scientific method, in fact, celebrates failure. That which does not conform to theory still informs theory.
Any chance you could put the scientist away and talk to their human side?
Well, I suppose I would say that it is fine, that all things are temporary, and the universe does not care to condemn them.
So how can we get you to say them things to yourself, Doc?
My situation is not the same. I was trained in the age of discovery. I bear the responsibility for that age. But if this project of mine, to create the blood that will sustain the world, is not what I am here for, then what is my purpose?
Well, let me ask you, what's the purpose of a gopher?
His purpose is to just exist. No one has a purpose, generally. Unless they give themselves one, or they will it. Someone else gives someone.
Rodentia, Geomedy. Rodents endemic to North America, known for their tunneling ability and as agricultural pests. I believe they are the prey of owls, snakes, and coyotes, and are omnivorous themselves, consuming vegetables, insects, and small mammals.
I wasn't expecting you to be so thorough. I don't think I knew half that stuff.
I have come to learn nearly everything there is to know about mammalian biology as a result of my research. Please get to the point.
I think I forgot what it was now.
That is not encouraging.
Hold on a sec, I think I've got it.
Gophers have a purpose?
Gophers have a purpose. Driving people crazy, that's what. Used to wreak havoc on the farmland back in Missouri.
Absolutely ridiculous. That is not their purpose. It's an ill-informed anthropocentric philosophy defined and subscribed to entirely by said anthropocentrists.
I didn't know bugs could do that.
Anthropocentrists, not arthropods. Humans. Homo sapiens. I am saying that you have created a purpose for the gopher that the gopher is entirely unaware of.
So, who made your purpose, Dr. Drain?
What? Well, I did, I suppose.
So if you made it, you can change it, right?
But how can I change my purpose? I have always been a scientist. So that's what I am.
I don't know if this is labeling or not. Let's try it. Oh.
Dr. Drain appears to see himself only as a scientist. I fear this.
Overgeneralization?
Science is just what you do, compadre. That's one of them anthropocentric philosophies you mentioned. You're overgeneralizing about yourself. Dr. Drain's in there, and he's more than the things he knows are his job title.
That's the problem. I'm not sure that he is.
All right, well, let's take that scientific approach and try to figure out who the man behind the scientist is.
Very well. If we look at the behavior of our subject, myself, we can infer a few things. If we examine my behavior, one can draw a comparison to a threatened higher-thinking mammal. I spend much time in ensuring personal safety and security.
Hey, Greyhound, how are you? Like, my reptilian brain makes me feel like... Fair enough. I think, I don't particularly like my lizard brain. It doesn't work very well. It overreacts to things.
What about your more peaceful moments? What do they look like?
I believe these feelings are only medically induced through my special plasma. However, Dr. Drain appears to be at rest when he is full and satisfied.
And your synthetic blood doesn't do that for you.
I am forced to admit that at present, it does not.
Dr. Drain, what do you think of drinking something a little more fresh and human?
I will not. I do not have to. That depraved vampire, Lord Lyridus, is the source of all that is base and vulgar about my person.
What does that have anything to do with drinking human blood? Also, I feel like this is overgeneralization?
Once again, Dr. Drain absolves himself of Lord Lyridus' act.
I will not. I do not have to. That depraved vampire, Lord Lyridus.
Once again, Dr.
What the fuck
Drain.
is this?
I will not.
Once again, Doc.
I will not.
Once again, Doc.
I will not.
Hold your horses there, partner.
Okay,
Maybe
whatever.
Lord Lourdes ain't a refined gentleman, but calling him depraved is just like calling yourself depraved.
I didn't realize that was labeling, but alright.
But I do not do the depraved things Lord Lourdes does.
But you're starting from a position of disgust for the Lord Lourdes part of you. How are you going to reconcile what he is when you're labeling him?
But I don't wish to reconcile with him.
Well, what if you indulge Lord Lourdes once in a while? Maybe you could keep him from coming out.
Do you not understand what I have been working toward for the last 400 years? I will finally be able to transcend this thing that I am. I shall be a parasite no more.
Yeah, it'd be a little broken for when I understand, but hey, at least plenty of things like a little bit. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it, though. As much as I still dislike it, though I do accept it as a part of me. I just have to work on it, I guess. I believe that my ego, my conscious, is better and transcends my subconscious. And I do understand where this guy is coming from. He is technically a parasite, being a vampire. I don't think most people like being like that. Labeling?
Come on, Dr. Drain, what you are ain't a parasite. Look what you've done with your time here.
Oh, forgive me for wanting to transcend the lifestyle of a female mosquito.
I mean, he has a point. Who would want to be a parasite?
Well, heck, maybe you wouldn't be so keen to transcend if you didn't call yourself them names.
But that's not... I hate to say it, but I agree with Dr. Jane on this one. If you find that having the lifestyle of a female mosquito is a problem, and you don't particularly like it, of course you would want to change it.
We all gotta consume to live, Bronco. Ain't no such thing as a perpetual life machine.
Yeah, but you can try to make it vegan. You're trying to make it vegan. You know? Also, why is my lip syncing anything? 1 second. Share time. While I fix this. As for well. Oh, that's not too good. Is the I thought you got like ADHD meds. Are they not helping you? Reload. Okay, that should fix it now. Alright.
I believe you are trying to invoke the first law of thermodynamics.
Refresh my memory.
Energy cannot be destroyed or created in an isolated system. It can only be transformed.
That is true.
Oh, yeah, that's basically what I'm saying.
Well, it is a salient point, I must admit.
I will say though that like his school is making vegan blood. I don't really necessarily see it as such a bad thing. So maybe he should stop like demeaning himself about the state that he's in.
Dr. Drain, we really gotta talk about some kind of middle path here.
Well, you guys set reminders or alarms about it once a day. That might help.
Back home, we tried the whole abstinence thing a few times, and it didn't go too well. We tried to stop drinking, and that just made people only do bad drinking. We tried telling teenagers sex was evil, and that just made them want it even more while being ashamed of themselves. What if you just tried to do some of them things Lord Lourdes does? Just don't do them the way he does.
I find the idea utterly repellent.
Yeah, but then you go and take that plasma, and Lord Lourdes makes the decisions. We don't want that, right?
Fine. Fine. I'll drink some blood. But I warn you, Sam, the price of failure is most dear. If I should lose my humanity, all of humanity will lose.
We need to go back to this thing I brought up before. You're a smart fella, Dr. Drain, but sometimes you're forgetting vampire commonality. We've all felt like the world was ending, or that we're awful monsters. But them feelings are our perceptions alone.
Yes, yes, I'm aware. Perhaps I've been a little too human in my foibles. However, you forget my training and history. I am not an average vampire. I was trained by the great Professor William Harvey. I have had 4 centuries to unlock the secrets of animal biology. I have a duty to humanity and to my own legacy. A duty I should not fail in. Otherwise, what was it all for?
I'm pretty sure this is a should statement.
Hold your horses there, amigo. You say you've got a duty to humanity? Well, that ain't scientific at all. It ain't just anthropocentric, it's Dr. Drain-centric. Nobody said you had to do anything.
Oh. Do you not eat much? Wait, how often do you have to take it?
Remember when we first started talking, I told you about them should statements? That's what you're doing, compadre. Just remember that them shoulds are yours.
Yes, I must be frustrating to you, Sam. I invoke the same delusions over and over again.
Hey, come on, Doc. You should be proud of yourself. You know what the difference is between you and vampires who never improve themselves?
I mean, he's here, he's trying.
You're here. You've made a commitment to getting your head on straight. And you're getting there, my friend. Already you're making some big changes and investing in yourself. I can see it. So let's cut Dr. Drain a break. How about it, amigo? He doesn't need the weight of the world on him. There's only one thing he should do, and that's have a little understanding and empathy for himself. You get me?
Yes, I get you. Very well. I shall try to keep a clear head. And I will arrange to drink some real blood. There's plenty of it in the lab. I shall just liberate some of it.
Good man. We'll talk about how it's gone next month, all right?
Indeed. Until then, Sam. And thank you for your patience.
I ain't got nothing but time, amigo. You can thank me by being patient with yourself.
All the same, you have my thanks. I shall see you in a few weeks then. Farewell.
Well done indeed, Samuel.
That's not
I think
too
we're
bad.
starting to see a new version of the good doctor in the making.
I feel like we're actually making some progress with him.
I hope you're right, boss. That fella's awful hard on himself.
That is normal, my friend. Being a vampire takes a lot of self-acceptance. He is only taking his first steps in discovering this.
Yeah, fair enough. It took other people forgiving me for me to forgive myself.
And now you pass on this gift of compassion to Dr. Drain. Now, Samuel, the evening is still young. See what the night has to offer downstairs.
Well, I do eat, it's just I don't necessarily eat regularly. Whenever I'm shit pills, I had to have a sack first, so by the time I finish the sack, I forgot about the pills. Is it possible to take the pills first and then eat, or no?
That sounds good, Andy.
Rest in peace, my friend.
I always come out of the doc sessions feeling dumber than ever.
Okay, I suppose I would try to get more space. Yeah, I mean, it's an idea. Like, you can take the pills, and then as soon as you're done taking them, you start eating. And hopefully the combo that will help you not feel sick. Great session at the dock tonight. Sometimes his being a big old nerd can be a real help. Let's look at his problem more rationally now. Likes to blame Lord Lourdes for his more animal needs, that is, he denies his own needs and Lourdes fulfills them. Has a lot of his identity tied up in being a rational scientist. Wants to transcend being a vampire. Must drink real blood. Encourage the doctor to drink some real blood. I think his head ain't clear because he's starving. I think he gets that it's a biology thing. Yeah, if you starve yourself, you're eventually gonna end up crazing before you die.
I'll check in with Crimson. She's always got some bartender's wisdom to share. Howdy, Crimson. Looks like a nice crowd tonight.
They're always a nice crowd, cowboy. We like to maintain an asshole-free zone.
I'll try not to be an asshole then.
I'm not worried about you, cowboy. You had a session tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, with the doctor fella. We had a hard talk about what being a vampire means.
Hi, how are you?
He's having a hard time coming to terms with it, even after 400 years.
I can understand that. I've stopped aging for the last 20 years and don't know how I feel about it yet. How do you think it went with him?
Pretty well, I think. We made pretty good progress with him, all things considered. And he didn't try to kill me or fuck me.
I think we're finally getting somewhere, actually. It's funny, a lot of vampires forget they're human, but he keeps forgetting he's a vampire. But just like we can't opt out of being human, we can't opt out of being vampires either.
Must have been a hard talk, cowboy. I sometimes wonder what I am. Staying the same age, drinking Andy's blood to live. Don't get me wrong, I like not being dead, but I still feel like I'm living on borrowed time.
Is this a good time to ask why you don't just join the dark side? It ain't that bad being dead.
Is it really joining the dark side, though? Vampires aren't that bad.
I'm just not sure what I'd do with forever, you know? Eternity's a long time.
I don't know. Chill.
Yeah, I think a lot of us vampires can't answer that question either. I don't think there's one answer anyway.
There you go. So I guess I'll keep putting off the question.
But nobody's rushing you, Crimson.
You think I'd let anyone? But thanks for listening, cowboy. Now why don't you go mingle? There's a new fella in the kink room who's very interested to meet you.
Oh boy, the kink room.
I guess I'll go be social then. Thanks, Crimson.
So who's this new guy?
Wait a sec, that ain't...
Who the fuck are you?
Greetings, my child.
Keep your distance, amigo. I know our kind ain't had good history, but I ain't in the
Why
mood
are
for
you
an
a metal
exorcism or nothing.
priest?
Ah, my child of the dark. If I were to exorcise you, nothing would be left when I was done. Only the good Lord is free of sin. We are all children of darkness.
Thanks.
Holy smokes, what Bible have you been reading?
I know my scripture, my son. However, I am by scripture and dark metal ordained, not by any church of man.
Oh,
So, you're some kind of freelance priest?
okay.
Yes, I suppose I am. It is the only way I can give succor to those who need it most.
So I gotta ask, seeing as we're in a kink room, what kind of sucker are we talking about?
I follow in the path of the Lord. I share my body, and I share my blood.
You know, I'm not sure if big capital G God would be very much like this.
Ain't this a little blasphemous for your
Yeah,
kind?
blasphemous.
To whom, my child? God is in everything, including you, sweet vampire. Can God blaspheme against himself?
I feel like this would go down a slippery slope real quick. Sorry, I was talking to my cats.
I merely wish to give comfort to those who live in darkness. And so, I choose to live in darkness with them.
I mean, can't it be a little bit both? I don't know.
Come, my son. I shall give succor to
How are
you.
you, Brady? You know, I haven't seen a gun yet. Not yet today. And thank you for the hearts, whoever's giving them those.
Well, alright. Maybe if you stop calling it that.
Okay,
Ouch! You hit me right in the artery, my son.
Oh, dang it. I thought I was in the
Sorry.
wrong place.
yeah, I follow the voice actor who voices Sam on Twitter and whatnot, because he's the guy who does like the Critical Role stuff. Have you ever heard of that? And I really don't need to hear him doing that.
Thou shalt not want, my son. Are you comforted?
I mean, you have a point. I would definitely say it's radical though. Because I don't think that conforms to normal beliefs. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm not a theologist either. Just knowing what I know about Christianity, that seems a little off. Like the vibes are off on that.
Yeah, I guess I am.
I know those of my faith have hunted your kind. Perhaps we fear our own sin, so we seek the sins of others. I seek only the Lord in everything, as do we all, whether we know it or not.
You ain't wrong, I suppose. Hey, a little awkward, but what's your name, fella?
I am Kieran. It means little dark one. The night always did call to me.
Well, Kieran, I'm Sam, and I appreciate the blood, but I'm gonna turn in. A little sleepy now.
Go with God, my child of the night.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
A fine evening to you, Samuel. Are you ready for tonight's session with Signora Teste?
Well, here we go. Oh, is my lip syncing off again? No, maybe not. Alright, I'll just keep going.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're making some good progress.
That is wonderful. Remember, though, that the road to inner peace is not a straight line.
True enough. I like to say I didn't make my path. Nature did.
Samuel, you have the makings of a poet.
Oh, I meant it more literally. When I was walking in the woods, I just walked where the land led me.
But you see, this is a wonderful metaphor. If there is a valley between two mountains, that is the path nature takes us on.
Maybe. I do have an air purifier going. Here, let me, let's see what I can do. I do have a lot of filters on my mic to help me sound more clear. Okay, I don't want advanced audio properties, I want filters. Let me turn off my compressor and see if that helps. Does this sound any better? Yes, no, maybe so. A little clearer? Okay, I'll keep it like that. I just thought that, like, well, it does look like it's making me sound a lot louder, so I guess that's good. Maybe a little bit too loud. Let's put it like right here. Yeah, as I said, I was messing with a lot of settings. Oh, why is it saying too loud? There. I was messing with a lot of settings when it comes to how my mic sounds, because to be frank, I have a really shitty mic right now, and I'm trying really hard for me to sound understandable. I guess I'll try not to scream. That way you don't die from my voice.
We often choose to climb the mountain instead when the easier path is made for us. Your experience guides your intuition more than you might expect, my friend.
Guess it's that peasant wisdom the Signora mentions.
Be careful with the labeling, my friend.
I didn't mean it in a bad way. I ain't ashamed of being a peasant. I'm just folks, as we like to say.
You're just folks. I'm just folks. We're all folks. I do think with that big compressor though, it has like, I'm noticing like a peaking with my mic, so I'm trying to lower the volume down so it doesn't do that when I speak. But we'll see.
I can see why the Signora has become quite fond of you. Are you prepared for your session with her?
Yeah, I think with our progress, there might be some other distortions to focus on. Let me think.
Let's see. Disqualifying a positive. Blaming. She's always right. She should do this. She should do that. She is Isabella D'Este. She needs to do all this, and this.
All right, locked and loaded.
The people of your country have so many colorful phrases having to do with firearms. I do not understand the obsession.
Gun fun.
I can't explain it neither.
Gun fun.
I shall leave you alone with the Signora, Samuel.
As a certified Texan before I moved to the Void, I don't know either.
Howdy, Signora. Good to see you tonight.
You are looking forward to seeing me?
Well, sure I was. You're an interesting person, Signora. It's a privilege to get to know you.
I suppose you have learned something of manners yourself. I thought a lot about the things we talked about last time, you know.
Oh yeah? What about exactly?
About how foolish I was for wasting my time for so long fighting against reality.
I don't think that's foolish.
A woman so learned and accomplished was probably never ineffective or foolish, don't you?
About how foolish I was for wasting my time for so long.
A woman so
What
learned.
am I doing wrong?
About how foolish I was for wasting.
A woman so learned and accomplished.
About how foolish I was.
Now hold on, Signora.
Okay,
Maybe
hold on a
you were
second.
fighting
Okay,
reality
whatever.
some, but that doesn't mean you were wasting your time. That fighting with reality is just part of what makes you human. It's your experience, your journey that you're learning from.
But if the aim was to control my family, I failed to achieve that aim.
Yeah, but that's real all or nothing aim, Signora. It's easy to fail when the conditions for winning are so narrow, right?
Yes. You are, of course, correct. Would that I had listened to the simpletons in my life earlier.
Well, I'm glad you've been doing some thinking. You were putting so much pressure on yourself to be the one keeping your family going. I can tell how much it was weighing on you.
I spent so long trying to fix them, trying to transform them into something that they were not. May I talk to you about my ex-husband, Sam?
Of course you can. I know he gave you a lot of grief.
Oh boy. X-talk.
He hurt me deeply, in so very many ways. He was the start of all my delusions because I thought I could fix him.
That's about how it all starts. Thinking that you could fix your partner when you can't. You can only push them to make better changes in their lives. That's their choice.
I thought Frankie was the way he was because I was not an ideal wife. that perhaps he would have been faithful if I had been as beautiful or fertile as a Medici. I know I have been arguing with reality, as you have said, but the idea of a fruitful marriage, sanctified by God, this was the only reality I had. But that reality did not match with mine. God could not have blessed both our marriage and riddled Frankie's penis with French diseases.
I mean, yeah, exes kind of suck.
French diseases?
We used to call syphilis the malfrance.
Oh.
Diseases don't belong to any nationality. You sound like a certain politician from back home.
Do not insult me. Have I not suffered enough with my husband's disgusting malady? It was a painful lie to live. I could only conclude from my sorrow that God was testing me. Endlessly.
That's a fucking... I honestly don't know what this could be. Control fallacy?
I want to challenge you on something there. That sounds like a kind of hopeless statement.
Endlessly.
Like you're doomed to keep being tested on God's terms.
Like, I myself, I experience the fallacy of like, oh, am I being tested for like every single bad thing that's happened to me in my life? I immediately go with like, oh, it isn't this person's fault or my fault or anything. I'm just being tested. I'm just being pushed to become a better person through trauma in my life.
Perhaps it was hopeless. As you said, Isabella d'Este and Francesco Gonzaga could not change their natures.
That's true, but here's the thing. Does that mean you were doomed? Or were you just doomed on God's terms? I think this just needs a little reframing. I know you were dealt a rough hand, but it doesn't necessarily mean you were being tested. Sometimes we just gotta make do with the hand we got.
I mean, a belief that I've always held for a very, very long time, and I'm not going to say whether it is a right or wrong belief, it is just a belief. Like anyone's beliefs. When it comes to like religious and spiritual stuff. I always believed that, you know, a deity should, or the universe or whatever, should be pushing you to become a better person, to become the best that you can be. And I thought that, oh, all this bad stuff that or annoying stuff or like whatever that has happened, was it just because of people being sucky or me being stupid or like whatever? It's because it's a test. This is meant to improve me in some way, so I could become nicer, kinder, more generous, or whatever. I mean, I'm trying to be neutral about it.
What I'm suggesting is that then and now, a radical acceptance approach could have helped you.
I just think that, like, how do I put this? It is something I still hold as a belief, somewhat, but I am much more, like, choosy of, like, is this person just an asshole? Or there's actually is it actually very likely that this could be this is the reason why this is happening to me? More often than not, I choose, oh, this person's a dick.
What do you mean?
What are these options? You could have become a nun, I guess.
You could have become a nun, right? That would have been a way out of your situation.
Sam, you know me better than most at this point. Could I have been a nun?
Well, I guess you could have been the queen of the nuns.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, how do I put this? I think it could be a mix of things. One can never truly know whether or not it's meant to be something or it was just something that's happening. And to be honest, I'm not really sure because I feel like the experiences I have gone through in life has made me a better person overall. But that doesn't mean I wanted those things to happen. Yeah, it's like a very, I call it a very strange coping mechanism.
That was not an available position.
And I have been told that, oh, you're so kind. Maybe a little bit too kind. And like, thanks, I guess.
Well, maybe it wouldn't have worked out then. How about being polyamorous? That way you'd still have each other at home, but you could have gotten different needs satisfied by different people.
Yeah, for sure. I think, like, the things that I have learned to do better at is more of, like, having more patience with people or understanding their situation more, I guess. I don't know. I feel as though that I've become a more compassionate person over the past few years. I'm not quite sure though.
Please. It was the 1490s. Such things were not acceptable unless you were a pop singer like Bartolomeo Tromboncino.
What? Bartolomeo Tromboncino.
Oh yeah, Bartolomeo Tromboncino. Can't forget him.
Do not be impertinent. He was a Frotolo star. Every man and woman dreamed of sleeping with him.
Huh. I figure Fratello would have been illegal. All that rubbing in public.
I know, right?
Porca miseria. A Frotolo is like a madrigal. He was a madrigal singer. You are thinking of frottage.
I don't think frottage existed back in the 1490s. I didn't even know what that was until like a year ago.
Oh yeah, sorry. Guess them mortals downstairs got to me. You could have had some sort of secret arrangement. That was pretty common back then, right?
Oh, we did have a secret arrangement. The arrangement was that he kept secrets from me and I pretended not to know about them.
Yeah, exactly.
Had you ever considered talking about it?
I was just given coffee by my roommate. Thank you. Alright.
I could not. You do not know what it was like back then. A woman, even one such as I, was always subject to her husband. I did not have a say in his affairs. I had to play the part of the good wife and mother. You must understand, I only earned my significant power by playing the societal game.
But he knew you were aware of his indiscretions, didn't he?
It was hard to deny when he approached me with that rotten thing between his legs.
So why not bring the issue out in the open?
He would have become angry, I am sure. Perhaps he would have beaten me and taken away the privileges I had worked so hard to earn. Perhaps it is pointless to tread over the past again and again. What has happened has happened. It has been nearly 5 centuries. I should not let the past haunt me so.
It's a hard thing, Senora. But no matter how old we get, the stuff that happened to us when we were alive is the stuff that makes us who we are. To think you should get over it ain't being fair to yourself, and it's a challenge you created. Nobody expects you to get over your past. Heck, anyone who would have thought that's long dead now.
There is truth in what you speak. My father and mother, my husband, the Pope, even the Holy Roman Emperor, they are all very long gone. If I am true, Sam, I am still very angry about all the lies I was told. I may be harboring some resentment.
You don't say.
You will understand when I tell you of Frankie's greatest cruelty.
I mean, to be fair, she is very, very old.
I will tell you that the man, for all his fighting spirit, had very weak sperm, for he could not sprout a male seed in my womb.
What? What? What the fuck? What the fuck do I put down here? What do I put down here? What is this? I don't know.
Thankfully, I had no natural children of my own, but even I know that they would have had only half of my genetic material.
I will tell you
Blaming?
that the man...
Hold on, are you really blaming your husband's sperm for your having girls?
It could not have been my fault.
It's both of y'all's faults. Shut up.
Senora, even I know it's just luck of the draw. I think you know that too.
No, there's definitely something wrong with that statement that I found out here. Though, to be frank, I don't see why anyone would be mad about having daughters, but it's a long time ago, so like whatever.
Fine. Perhaps I just wanted to insult Frankie. But I will continue. My first child was a girl. I could not have been more embarrassed. Or so I thought. Until I had my second child, who was also a girl. I will tell you, Sam. I was a young woman in mourning. I did not emerge from my chambers for weeks. The next time, finally, I had a boy. My beautiful Federico. He was such a charming child. He would entertain me so with his clownish behavior. May I show you a picture, Sam?
Well, sure, let's take a look.
Look at him. Isn't he beautiful? He could have been a movie star or a model today, don't you think?
I don't know, maybe.
Admit it, he is the most handsome boy who ever walked this cursed earth.
Well,
Why am I asking you? What do you know of beauty? Anyway, I gave all of myself to him. All my guidance, all my wisdom, and all of my love.
I highly doubt it. It's totally possible that the fashion was in for, like, boys when they're children to have long hair. We don't exactly know what the fashion was for the 1490s very well, right?
Everyone said, you are doting on him. Give him some air. How dare they tell me my business? I am Isabella d'Este. I know what is right.
Control fallacy? Or no, always right.
Senora, I'm sure you knew what was best for your son, but ain't it possible that those people might have been able to help you?
It's just a child. Like, children fashion wasn't exactly very gendered until like the 1900s, 1800s, 1900s, you know? They're all very like pretty gender neutral until you get closer to like preteen, teenagerhood, and then it starts like splintering off.
It's lonely work when you feel like you can't listen to anyone else.
Like, they weren't very much like, oh, you're a boy, you have to wear, I don't know, overalls with, and play with trucks, and get a sticks and dirt, and blah 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 blah, and eat worms. And you're just children.
Are you telling me how I should have raised my son?
Yes, I'm telling you how you should have raised your son.
I got a better sense of self-preservation than that, Senora. But you gotta admit, this Nosferatu thinking of being always right is pretty exhausting, ain't it?
I mean, it's very obvious that Isabella has like some sort of like narcissism going on. Typically with narcissistic parents, they will typically have one child that's like the golden child and will coddle them needlessly. So that way they control exactly how their perfect child is going to be when they grow up. They see them as more of a part of themselves and a different separate being that you just happen to pop out of your womb.
Oh, that is true. And as it turned out, pointless. It did not matter in the end. Frankie, in his supreme foolishness, managed to get himself captured by the French. He ransomed himself out of prison with something more precious than all the gold in Venezia, more valuable than the Pope's seat. He sold my son, my beautiful Federico.
Dang, that must have been devastating, Senora. I can't imagine how painful that must have been.
No, you cannot. For you will never be a mother to a son so beautiful, so intelligent, and so pure.
Well, yeah, that does kind of suck. Even if she's a narc, losing her favorite child like that for her case would be a very, very devastating, traumatic experience for her.
But that was not the end of my pain. It was not enough to take my son away. Not content to merely break me, the French, as always, needed to corrupt. They sent my sweet Federico to a den of filth, a place where chastity went to die, straight to the crossroads of Sodom and Gomorrah. They sent him to the Vatican.
They sent him to the Vatican?
The Vatican? Seems like that'd be a pretty boring place for a boy to spend time.
This was Rodrigo Borgia's Vatican.
Oh.
It was a city
Oh,
of
no.
prostitutes and perverts, and he was their mayor. My poor Federico. He was a boy of a certain age. I could not have prepared him for the temptations he encountered.
Yeah, that does not seem very good.
When he finally returned to me, he was no longer Isabella d'Este's child. He was the child of Francesco Gonzaga, an experienced whoremonger
turned
in his
into a
own
pimp?
right.
What?
Hold on a sec. No longer your child? You can't think that's true. You raised that boy, and there's no way he could forget you. Maybe he got up to shenanigans out there in the Vatican, but you're only hurting yourself by erasing your influence on him. Now be honest. Did he lose everything you taught him?
No. He still had an appreciation of art, for which he had some taste. And he had some political acumen, I suppose.
I'm not saying you should forget what happened to your son. That would be pretty unrealistic. But give yourself some credit for the influence you had, huh?
You are kind, Sam. Thank you. But it is hard to forget the child who returned to me. I am a man now, mother, he would say. I do not have to listen to you.
Rip.
And indeed, he did not. Which is why he died of syphilis, just like his depraved father. He did not even have the courtesy to wait until I was dead.
Yeah, to be honest, that would fucking suck.
Now do you understand why I prefer the illusion of truth and beauty I try to bring to art?
Like, if I had a kid, and there's a syphilis epidemic, and, like, and I told him, like, hey, don't just go romping with prostitutes, you're gonna get syphilis and die. He's like, fuck you, Mom, I'm gonna do what I want. And then he gets syphilis and dies, I would feel very upset.
My mother told me when my marriage was young, Isabella, you must pretend that all is as it should be. The truth is dark, but you must maintain your own.
I hate to say it, Senora, but I think your mama was spouting a few should statements of her own. Keeping up that illusion must have been draining.
That is why I tried to create my own illusions. If I depicted love and chastity in their ideal form, I could make that illusion come true.
What is this? Should statements?
Isabella wished to change reality through her
control.
art.
That
Well, Senora, if anyone were strong enough to change the world's morality, it might be you. But I think you know the truth is that you don't have that kind of control. No one does.
Then why am I here, Sam? Why are any of us here? Are we here to eat, sleep, fornicate, and die?
Maybe.
I know a few folk who might say that's why we're here. It's one of them existential questions, ain't it? Here's my take, Senora. I think you're here to be you.
I certainly hope you have something more intelligent to contribute than that.
I don't really. Here's the thing, Senora. None of us is going to change the world overnight, or even in a millennium of nights. But our being here, being ourselves, swings the pendulum in a whole bunch of unknowable ways.
That is a dark interpretation of reality. Are we truly so powerless?
No?
Isabella sees imperfection as helplessness.
That is a dark...
What I'm saying, Senora, is not
Okay.
that we're powerless.
I have a really hard
I'm just
time
saying we
controlling
ain't gonna change the world
fallacies.
on our own. Not everyone's gonna buy what we're selling, but some people are gonna get it. People are still out there talking about the art you brought to the world. Maybe fellas like me don't know who you are, and I bet that nasty Pope from your time wasn't your biggest fan, but you can't help but be an influence on people. Just not all people. Ain't that so?
I do not know if that is enough for me, Sam.
Well, here's what I think we should do, Senora. All them efforts of yours are always facing outward. How about we spend some time on you?
What do you mean?
I mean, let's work on the things Isabella D'Este likes. Forget about the rest of the world. What are you putting in your art that's for you and not for anyone else? Is it a little embarrassing?
Hush. If you must know, it is centaurs. I like centaurs.
What?
Hey, I ain't gonna judge. Sometimes I like horses better than people too.
Is this just like, oh, she just has like centaurs, or does she like centaurs?
Yes, well, they are pleasing to look at.
Does she like centaurs?
Now, how about this then? Why don't you pick up a brush and paint yourself up a centaur?
I have not attempted to paint for centuries.
This is just for you, Senora. No expectations. How's that sound?
I cannot believe I revealed this thing to you.
I swear to God, if in our next session she's gonna show me some centaur horsecock, I'm going to eat a hat.
I'm glad you did. I'm a lucky fella. I get to know an Isabella D'Este no one else knows.
And no one else will know, or I will make you suffer. Capiche?
You got a deal, Senora. I'm here to be supportive, that's all.
Maybe. Just maybe.
I hope that when you come back next month, we'll be having a nice conversation about you finding your muse.
Yes. Perhaps. Very well, Sam. I do not understand your ways, but I cannot deny you have a certain untamed wisdom. I shall attempt to paint a centaur. This is not what I expected from therapy, but I shall do as you suggest. I shall see you in 4 weeks then. Arrivederci, Sam.
Oh yeah, see you soon, Senora. Arrivederci.
Goodbye.
Well, well, Samuel, you never cease to impress. Centaurs.
I don't think you're supposed to know about that, boss.
I am 3,000 years old, my friend. Horse people are somewhere at the very tip of my kinky iceberg. It's already forgotten.
Okay.
Well, the Senora's pretty embarrassed about it, so I'd appreciate it if you kept it to yourself.
Senora Deste is wise to put her faith in you, Samuel. I will gently remind you that relationships between
I'm not
therapists and
going to
clients
fuck
are
her.
highly
Stop
discouraged.
assuming that. She's not my type. She's the opposite of my type. I fucking hate darks.
Oh, come on, Andy. It ain't like that. Senora Deste's just... You're messing with me.
Of course I am. Unless...
All right, you know what? I'm going downstairs. I could use a drink.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Well earned, Samuel. Please, rest in peace.
Poor Senora. That lady's holding on to a lot of anger. Reminds me of myself as a young vampire.
Okay. Save. In case it crashes. The deeper I dig, the angrier Isabella gets. I don't think we're even at the core of it yet, but she is furious as hell with her husband and son. Adored her son more than anything, a little too much, baby. Feels betrayed by both her husband and her son. Seems angry with herself that she wasn't able to control either of them, maybe better herself than her boys. I try to push Isabella to be a little bit more selfish. She can't control another human being, so maybe she can worry about herself first. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. My own taste may go into the little bit more monstrous domain as well, but a horse cock is drawing a line for me. That is past the line of no return. I don't want any part of that. I don't want to see a horse cock, please.
Pretty hot in here tonight. I think I'll get some air. Maybe I can get to know Bert a little better. Hey Bert, how's the crowd tonight? Same old, huh? So,
maybe, I don't know. How would it do that? I don't know. How about that weather, huh?
So, summers sure are warm these days, huh? Bet Europe was a lot colder in your time. You think the infinite dawn will happen in our unlifetimes? Oh, that's what some vampire climatologists say. I don't know. I figure we can still do something about it. I know it's easy to get disillusioned, but get your chin up. It's been nice talking to you, Bert. I'm gonna head inside.
Have fun, mate.
Hey, Crimson, how's the crowd?
Hey, cowboy. Bit busy tonight, but how'd your session go?
I think it went well, all things considered.
No, I think this lady's starting to realize what she can't control, which is a lot. She's still mad as hell about it, but I think we're getting closer to acceptance.
I know how she feels, cowboy. I feel like I wasted years of my life in DC trying to make the world a better place. But it sounds like you are making progress to me. She's got time to make her peace. That's what Andy says about you vampires.
Yeah, that's true. We can take 40 years or 400, but that's up to us.
In the meantime, I'll whip something up for a hot summer night.
What's this now?
Blood margarita. Figured a hot-blooded desperado like you could use something cold.
Ooh.
Oh, mighty kind of you, Crimson. I'll let you get back to work and take this up to my coffin for a quiet night.
Oh, come on. Alex, what the fuck?
Night, Sam.
Now let's see, what'll help me reflect on the night?
My roommate can be weird sometimes.
I think there's something Omar Khayyam once wrote that I can look up. Or I could watch Buster Keaton almost get himself killed a bunch.
Let's go with poetry.
One of my transcendentalist friends told me about this one. I ain't too good with poetry, but this the moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on. Nor all thy piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all thy tears wash a word out of it. Funny how people in far-off places and times always had some similar perspectives. Omar's right. You can't change the past. Life moves forward. I think that's enough for one night. Better get me some shut-eye. Got the feeling my work's gonna get harder before it gets easier.
If I'm making weird faces, that's just because I'm drinking coffee.
My dear Samuel, greetings. How are you feeling tonight?
Hot.
Honestly, I'm feeling a little like a horse who's about to be ridden by a big old fella.
What?
I am not certain I comprehend your meaning. Have you met a special someone, my friend?
What? No, it ain't that. I mean, I'm feeling a little on edge. Edmund's coming in.
Okay, so both me and him thought the same thing.
Aha, our actor friend. What about him has you nervous, Sam?
He's another fucking narc.
He's just a lot to deal with. I find myself a little drained after our sessions.
Ah, yes. Challenging the reality distortion fields of those with narcissistic tendencies is taxing.
I know, but if I'm here doing this therapist thing, I should help him one way or another.
Ah, remember your own distortions. You are under no obligation to help Edmund. If helping him drains you, remember that you do not have to aid him.
Yeah, you're right. I still want to try, though. I want to see if I can help him.
I shall not stand in your way then. Have you an idea of what distortions he might be exhibiting tonight?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
What would someone at NPD do a lot of? Always very, control fallacy, overgeneralization. Disqualifying positive.
I think that should cover it.
I wish you peace and patience, Samuel. Good luck tonight.
Alright.
Thanks, Andy. Edmund, amigo, how's it hanging?
To the left and most proudly, my dear boy. Indeed, tonight I sit before you victorious. Thy gentle prodding hath guided me back to the womb of creation.
Do I want you to spell that out for me?
The stage, good sir, the stage. For if all the world's a stage, then the stage is where humanity is born.
Oh, yeah, I guess that must be true. So what are you saying? You nabbed some kind of juicy role?
Not just any role. Nay, I have been given the opportunity to once again subvert the audience's expectations. Though it was thy tender words that cleared the mists of doubt from my mind and reminded me that I belong to the stage, not to the audience.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Eddie. Tell me all about it. What's been going on?
Do you remember the advice you gave me when last we met?
I told you to film yourself doing some acting, right? How'd that go?
I did as you suggested. I set up a camera, and for no one but myself, I became the Dane.
Marmaduke?
Hamlet, my dear boy, Hamlet. I watched the great Edmund Kean inhabit the bard's greatest role once again, and in him I saw humanity pure, naked, and true. It was akin to pornography, albeit far more revealing.
What?
That Edmund Kean, I told myself, he and only he could produce something so beautiful.
What?
Wait just a minute there, Eddie. You're an incredible actor. Everyone agrees on that. But it's a big world out there, and everyone's got their own experiences. We all got capacity to do incredible things. It's a combination of luck, perseverance, and being in the right place at the right time. You ain't a great actor because you're Edmund Kean. You're a great actor because of the things that made you Edmund Kean.
I know. He's the one I dislike the most, but I feel like he's written to be that way, to be dislikable. So good job, I guess, writers.
You toy with the fates and flirt with pedantry, my dear boy. Oh, 'tis oft said that an infinite number of monkeys with an infinite number of typewriters and infinite time could produce all the works of Shakespeare, but such a thing is infinitely unlikely. If you will permit me to continue, to watch myself act without an audience was simply rapturous. I am not ashamed to admit that I did weep. I wept for the stage, that I deprived it of my greatness on account of my own misplaced dread. I have been a cream-faced loon, a devout coward, and most religious in it. Why should Edmund Kean fear any audience? You spoke truly. Edmund Kean bared his chest to all the slings and arrows of an unappreciative audience, and was somehow surprised when they hit their mark.
Go on.
The Edmund Kean that you see before you is armored in love of the craft that no arrow may penetrate, and so casts aside the cloak of cowardice. To think, I feared mortal directors. I feared the audition and the criticism that would come afterward. I feared the cast list, bereft of Edmund Kean.
Yeah. He sure is Edmund Kean, alright.
But to you I give thanks. For can a mortal director know my brilliance? Nay, they're all clay-brained guts and mouldy rogues. Their disrespect for the craft makes fools of them.
Hi, how are you? Okay, I think that's overgeneralization.
I think you're painting them directors with a broad brush, Eddie. I get that you've got more experience with acting than mortals, but all directors ain't the same. Hell, I'd even go so far as to say you could learn from some of them. They know they're gonna die, and that's perspective we vampires need sometimes.
Thou hast cut me to the quick, my friend. Perhaps some of what you say is true. However, I know in my damned soul that the stage is worse off without Edmund Kean, and nothing any mortal director can say will disabuse me of this.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Ergo, I did ask myself, Edmund, what is an audition? Is it a trial to overcome? Is a director a god dispensing holy judgment? And I replied, Edmund, do not ask such foolish questions, the answers to which thou knowest well.
Okay.
An audition, my dear boy, is not an opportunity, but an invitation to display the craft before another. So I told myself, why not act, dear boy? And so I did.
Oh, you got a role?
So you did an audition, all right, that's great. Did you have fun with it?
You speak so simply, my friend. Fun does not adequately describe the feeling one has when the muse takes over.
Right, the muse. Just like when, that reminds me of that, like, meme of, like, the actor who played Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo movie where, like, you know, the spirit of Shaggy took over and... I don't remember any of it, he's too strong. Or some shit like that.
It is transcendence, an affirmation of purpose, to condense humanity within oneself, if only for a moment. It is an orgasmic experience.
Please don't tell me you came during the audition.
That sounds intense, Eddie. Having an orgasm in front of someone else is pretty brave.
Oh, but it is freeing. A true actor hides
What
nothing.
he did? What?
The director, she told me she had never witnessed such a thing in all her years, few as they were. I am certain that she thought to herself, is this Dionysus reborn? Why have the fates graced mine eyes with such depth of the human spirit?
You don't. You don't do that.
This time, my friend, I did not have to wait for a cast list at all. You are looking at a leading man once more.
Hey, congratulations, Eddie. That's great. See, I knew you'd get your mojo back if you remembered what made you love the stage in the first place.
For this, I am eternally grateful, and indeed, I do have an eternity to be grateful.
Yeah. Unless he... Is it possible that he auditioned for a porn movie?
Now I can already hear the calls resounding through the theater. Keen, 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 give us Keen!
I mean, the only thing that makes sense is that he auditioned for a porno.
You may want to pick a different name.
Nonsense! They will say Edmund Keane has returned and be none the wiser as to the accuracy of their statement.
So what's the big role, Eddie?
Ah, we get to the meat of it, unto the very sinew at last. They say that every story is a circle, that we return whence we came. So it is with me. 'Twas tragedy that made me, tragedy that formed me, tragedy that raised me to glory, and tragedy that shall do so once more. I shall play the part of Pierrot. Pierrot, the clown who cried. Pierrot, the mask of the tragedy that is life.
I don't think I've seen whatever this is referencing.
I ain't familiar.
I believe you are, though you know a far inferior version. The one made famous by that ludicrous creature, Grimaldi.
Grimaldi who?
Splud, my dear boy. Do you know nothing of late 18th century English theatre?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
They must have skipped that subject in frontier school.
Grimaldi was the other influential actor in London. But whereas I drew out the soul and laid it bare on stage, Grimaldi, in comparison, was a clown, a jester, a funny man. Grimaldi was an artist, like myself. But where my canvas was the soul, his was the latrine. When I strode upon the stage, my audience saw all the acts of life play out, in all their woe and joy. Oh, but Joey Grimaldi, the great clown himself, could create bottom noises with his armpit.
I mean, it is kind of funny.
Yet whose name was on the lips of the adoring public? Not Keane's, no. Not the bard's emissary. Give us the farting clown, they cried. Give us Grimaldi.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck you. Give me the farting clown. I want to see it.
So you see, my dear boy, for me to play the tragic clown Pierrot, this is my opportunity to take what
ew,
Grimaldi
no.
stole from me.
No, that's not what I wanted.
What did he steal?
He stole my audience.
I feel like this might be personalization again.
Eddie, from what you've told me, I don't think you and this Grimaldi fella had the same audience. I don't think anyone showing up for a farting clown show and getting Edmund Keane is going to be too happy, and it'd have nothing to do with you.
But if Grimaldi had not peddled his base filth, my audience would not have waned when it did. They would have been mine.
And if the sun didn't shine, we could go out during the day. Come on, Eddie, the world ain't waiting on you. Grimaldi had his audience and you had yours. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Perhaps, though I whip bitter tears to think the people so base. And I weep for myself, my dear boy. The riches and fame he received should have been mine, and would have been, had the fates not cursed me with his birth.
I also feel like this is personalization.
The fates cursed you with Grimaldi's birth? I don't think baby Grimaldi was thinking too much about you, my friend.
Well, no, he wasn't. He was 11 years my senior.
So maybe he was cursed with your birth then.
You delight in making me play the part of the fool, don't you?
The point I'm trying to make is that making things about Grimaldi versus Keen ain't doing you any favors.
There is some truth in your words. Why should I lower myself to his level? I am no flatulent jester. I am Edmund Keen. And mark my words, my boy. I shall cast Joseph Grimaldi from the Thespian Order. When I play Pierrot the Clown, Wikipedia shall forget all about that fool.
Control fallacy?
Just a sec there, Eddie. I'm afraid you don't have the power to make Wikipedia forget about anything. I mean, I can barely figure out how to use the damn thing. They get stuff wrong all the time, just like any history book. Can't stop that.
May they be thrice damned, then. Perhaps I shall simply become so rich and powerful that I shall buy it.
Yeah, he has like an obsession with it.
Wikipedia's free.
This is most fortuitous. I can purchase it immediately.
Eddie, I'm saying you can't control Wikipedia, and it ain't a good use of your efforts. The best thing you can do is focus on you, okay? That you can control.
Of course you are correct. The force of my performance alone shall redefine the role of the clown. You see, my dear boy, I have already calculated my triumphant return to the stage. Every move, every word, every expression shall be unassailable.
You still haven't said
Edward
what...
Keen is never wrong about matters of character.
What type of movie is this? What type of play is this? Is it just a tragedy?
I'm glad to hear your confidence, Eddie, but I just want to give you a word or two of caution. Acting's all about humanity, not just Eddie Keen, right? If you don't give yourself a little room to bend, your audience might not see themselves in you.
Ha! Let them dream their filthy little dreams. If my body is that which draws them in before I spring the theatrical trap, I care not.
I didn't mean that. I just meant that you're drawing some hard boundaries acting-wise. Giving yourself some middle ground ain't a bad thing.
I know you play your part, therapist, as I must play mine. I have heard your cautions. They need not be repeated. Indeed, I doubt our meetings will be necessary any longer. I must confess to some strong misgivings about you, therapist.
Okay, buddy.
There are times when we speak that I feel exposed, diminutive, and weak, and I can only conclude from those feelings that you are trying to hurt me.
No.
It is no surprise that Edmund sees his feelings reflected in the world when he is at the center of the world.
Oh.
There are
Control
times when we
fallacy.
speak.
No?
It is no surprise that Edmund...
There are times when we
fuck?
speak that I feel exposed.
It is no surprise...
There are
Now, come
Okay,
on, Eddie.
whatever.
I think you can come away from our experience with a few positives. Maybe I ain't all you'd hope for, but I don't want you throwing out the good work we've done. You got some new perspectives that I think are going to be a real help to you.
Oh, very well, therapist. You have your uses, I concede. But I hold your oath of healing fulfilled.
I'm still here for you, Eddie.
Regardless, opening night is a month from now. I doubt you shall see me again, for I shall not need your services.
I'll see you next month, Eddie.
The public thought they knew what a clown was. In a month's time, they will forget Grimaldi and Bozo, and only Keen's clown will remain. Therefore, why shall I need you? When I have the public's love that I am due, what need will I have for a therapist?
You'll need me as emotional support.
You might need me for emotional support going into your next big role.
Oh, come now. I am now reconnected with my muse. I have all the support I need from him.
I don't think you've told me about them yet. Who's your muse, Eddie?
Why, it is I, of course.
I should have guessed.
Do you have any final words of wisdom for me then, dear boy? Theatre has lost its popularity because of my absence. When the public takes notice of Edmund Keane once again, how might I prepare myself?
Once again, Edmund believes the world is a
Theatre.
I just want to remind you, Eddie, that even if you give the greatest performance of all time, people ain't waiting for you. Think about how you felt when you were acting for yourself and not for the audience. Your most important audience member is you, compadre.
Ever the nemesis of mirth art thou, Sam Walls. But there is a little wisdom in what you speak. I suppose then that this is goodbye, dear boy.
For now. I'm totally expecting his movie or whatever to fucking flop opening night. He's gonna come crawling back.
You sure you don't want me to keep your session slot open for next month?
There is no need. As you are so eager to help others, please do so, and worry not for Edmund Keane.
Okay, buddy.
Tell you what, I'll keep it open just this once. I'll take the night off if you don't show up. Sound good?
Then I beg you enjoy a night of simple peace. You shall not see me. I give you thanks. And please, send me a V-mail. I shall arrange theatre tickets for you if you are ever in London.
I'll do that, Eddie. You
He's
take
gonna
care of yourself,
come
you
crawling
hear?
back. I see it. I fucking see it.
I shall be Edmund Keane's greatest advocate. Farewell, therapist. May fortune favor you as it has me.
Adios, Eddie.
Well, Samuel, it seems you are down one client.
Yeah, I guess so. If he thinks he doesn't need me, I guess I'm doing something right.
You are unsure.
I don't know, Andy. I think that fella's got some more work to do, but he ain't ready to do it yet.
I believe you are correct, Samuel. I did warn you that this was likely to happen with our dear Edmund Keane. Do not consider it a failure of yours. Remember that we are all on our own journeys, and some of us need a little extra time to reach the next stage of that journey. Or in my case, a few thousand years. We cannot control the mind of any other.
Yeah, I suppose that's the way it's gotta be.
Go downstairs and have a drink to fate's whimsical turns. It is that which we cannot control that makes the world so rich and interesting.
All right, Andy, that sounds good right about now.
Go then, my friend. The night awaits. Rest in peace.
Well, that was a weird one. I guess it always is with Edmund. Half the time I can't make heads or tails of what that feller's saying.
That was a lot. And exhausting. I guess that's it for Eddie. What therapy today? I guess I'll close out my notes. Eddie got casted to play as some famous clown he had a rivalry with back in the day. He's rekindled his love for acting, not just the audience. Still thinks everyone was waiting for him to light up the stage, obsessed with his own Wikipedia. I don't know how I feel about this one. I hope I'm wrong and that Eddie's going to be fine. Though actors are strange.
I'll go check in with Crimson and see if she's got any of her wisdom to share. How we doing tonight, Crimson?
The drinks are flowing and the blood's pumping. Can't ask for more than that. How are you, Sam?
Well, I had my first client graduate. They quit therapy today.
Congratulations, cowboy. Helped a vampire see the light, huh? How do you feel about it?
Pretty fucking poorly, honestly.
I swear this fella's just doubling down on the stuff that's making him unbalanced. He thinks he's gonna make the whole world admire him. I'm afraid he ain't nearly born enough for mass appeal.
Sorry to hear it, Sam. I'm sure he must have gotten something out of talking to you, though.
Well, even if not everyone loves what he's doing, at least he's doing what he loves.
Hey, I'd call that a win, cowboy. Not everyone gets to do what they love.
Sounds like you got some feelings about that.
All right, I'm gonna let you in on a big, dark secret. Maybe even darker than the fact that I drink blood.
I'll hold it with high honor, Crimson.
I liked being a lawyer.
Oh, you're right. That is dark.
Oh, shut up. I was good, Sam. I fought the good fight, and I knew case law like the back of my hand. The law just moved too slowly for me in the end, and getting cancer made it seem meaningless. Now, I love this place, and I love Andy, but I know I wasn't born to bartend.
Couldn't you practice law in Germany?
Actually, that might be a good idea.
You try learning German and tell me how it goes, Desperado.
It's an okay language.
Oh, come on, it ain't that hard. I picked up some German already. Ich spreche Deutsch good.
Ich spreche Deutsch good.
Hold me, Maxie. The cowboy is being once again too cute. I believe I shall burst.
Cowboy, come with us and we will teach you how to speak sehr good Deutsch.
I think I hear my dinner calling. I'll talk to you later, Crimson.
Be gentle with him, you two.
Now we will teach you the German that is most important for you to know.
Oh, okay.
It is important to ask politely when you wish to drink from someone's neck. Tell them, your neck is beautiful. May I drink from it?
Ihr Hals ist wunderschön. Darf ich von Ihnen trinken?
Ihr Hals ist wunderschön. Darf ich von Ihnen trinken? Did I say that okay? Actually, my roommate knows German. I'll be right back. Oh no. This is what it looks like. Ihr Haus ist wunderschön. Darf ich von Ihnen trinken?
Something is wonderful, heavy drink. Or heavy drink?
It means your neck is very beautiful.
Wonderful.
It's very wonderful. May I drink from it? The pronunciation is pretty far off. To be fair, I don't fucking speak German. I was just trying my best.
Now ask Reinhardt if he will let you drink from his neck.
It is very important to get the declensions correct in German.
What the fuck is declensions?
Ihr Hals ist wunderschön. Darf ich von Ihnen trinken?
Okay, I feel like I did better than that.
Oh, meine Ohren.
You have made my boyfriend sad, cowboy. Now you must drink from his neck to make him feel better.
Okay, sure.
Oh, Maxie. Now I'm feeling very disoriented and euphoric. Oh, so I've done many club drugs.
I will take you home, Knutkugel. Now what do you say, cowboy?
What the fuck is a Knutkugel?
Oh, Dankeschön.
Dankeschön, sexy. We must practice together so.
Dankeschön.
I must take this hot little man home now. Tschüss, tschüss.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah, see you later, you two. Well, it's about time for some shut-eye anyway.
Yeah, lately I've been trying to learn Japanese and some French. And I think once I think I'm able to handle it, I'm gonna add German into there as well, because, you know, that'd be fun. Why do so many people get off on getting sucked off? I don't fucking know. I don't particularly find it that hot, personally. I'm pretty sensitive because of my
Good evening,
bangs.
Samuel. I believe you are seeing your elder vampire tonight.
That's right. I hope she's making some progress. Well, the world sure did a number on that lady.
I am hopeful. One does not live so long without being very resilient. I have had a number of near-final death incidents myself, and I had been trained to fight since childhood.
That's true. She's clearly got a few tricks up her sleeve. I don't even know how she plays them 3D video games.
Based on her last session, you probably have some idea of her current concerns. Would you like to prepare your distortions?
Current concerns? Needs to get a... let's see.
Yeah, I guess I better do that. Now let's see.
This is good.
All right, I think I've got what I need.
Very good, Samuel. I shall leave you. I believe I hear the flapping of ancient wings.
I have a big show. She's not scary.
Mouse.
This is a little creepy.
Good to see you, matey. How's this month been for you?
Oh, it's been ever so tiring. My Glitch channel hit 100 million followers, and they are all very hungry for content.
Is there a Twitch channel that has that many followers? Like on that platform? Oh, my lip sync is out of sync again. 1 second. I'm gonna fucking fix this shit. Reload. Ah. That's better. Yes. Twitch.
What do you mean by content? Is it like making a TV show?
You're probably right.
Oh, no, silly mouse. Do you know how we're hungry for blood all the time? More
My
people
cat
like
just...
that too, but for content.
Yeah. Let me go check on my cat. This might be actually a good time for a bathroom break. Anyways, I'll be back in like a couple minutes. hopefully I wasn't gone for too long. I needed to cuddle my cat because she really, really wanted attention. And also go pee. I needed to do that too.
And it's constantly putting up new things on the internet. If they don't get content, they get frightfully bored.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, Moko was screaming at me to cuddle her and pet her. So I ended up doing that until she got bored and like wanted to be let go. And then after that, I went to go use the restroom and like wash my hands and shit.
I can see why that'd be exhausting.
It's alright, silly cowboy. It can be very nice. They're always very excited to see me. And they give me ever so much money. I don't know what to do with it all.
Well, sounds to me like you can afford to take a break, huh? Did you take that day off like you promised?
I did. I didn't like it very much.
I'm sorry to hear that, Maddie. What was bad about it?
It was very quiet. It was just me, alone, with no one to talk to but the voices in my head. And those voices are very unkind.
Well, that's not good.
What do they say?
They say, Maddie, you're being a very naughty vampire. You should respond to your zealots. You should be planning your content.
That sounds like some shit statements.
Well, heck, Maddie. Who the hell do them voices in your head think they are, telling you what you should and shouldn't do? Them shoulds don't mean anything at all. It ain't nice of them at all to be pressuring you.
I could certainly be a lot kinder. I already know that I should be preparing my content and answering my zealots. They don't need to be rude about it.
Well, maybe they were being rude because they know they're full of horse shit, huh? Ain't no shoulds but the ones we make up.
Silly cowboy. You don't know anything at all about the internet, do you?
Yeah, I gotta confess, I got almost no idea what you're talking about. I didn't get much past female.
I don't know what I'd do without the internet. I'd probably be a pile of ashes. Or maybe a desiccated, bloodless corpse.
I gotta ask, how'd you get so good at all this internet stuff anyway? I can't keep up with all this modern technology.
Well, back in the before times, I didn't need the internet very much. I used to live in the wilds where no one knew to look for me. If any silly mortals came to visit me, I would eat them. And if no one came to visit, I could go hunting for them on my own. But now there aren't any wilds. Now there are motorways and nasty machines. Now there are suburbs and shopping centers.
So what did you do when the wilds went away?
I moved into the city, but I never liked it very much. People were very upset at me for being able to come out only at night. They started to whisper that I was a witch. And I know what mortals like to do to witches.
Oh, did she kill a lot of people again?
Pop goes the eyeball. Okay.
Oh, right, yeah. Funny. So, how'd you manage?
Well, I found out I could get mortals to do things for me. In exchange for a peek at my naughty bits, and for their miserable little insect lives, they would clean up after all my messes. Realised that mortals only ever wanted one of two things from me. To kill me, or to do sexual things with me. As long as they think they can have a chance of sexual things, I can control them.
I guess that's overgeneralization.
I think you're shooting fish in a real small barrel there, miss. You're judging mortals based on your experience, but there are about 8 billion of them out there. There are mortals who hate killing and hate sex, or don't even care about either of those things. Some of them just want to watch TV and they're happy with that.
Those are even more disgusting, because they are cowards and liars. Most of my best friends over the last millennia have been insects. Do you know why, little mouse?
Oh, why don't you tell me?
Insects never lie. They kill,
Yeah,
they eat,
that's true.
and they make babies. Sometimes they eat their babies. They don't pretend to be intelligent and chivalrous. They just are. They never surprise me. That's why I don't let mortals surprise me either. If they were honest, they would eat their babies too.
Okay, I don't think that's true.
Well, that conversation took a kind of dark turn, but I think I get what you mean about not letting mortals surprise you. You're protecting yourself, and that's a sensible thing to do. That being said, you seem pretty convinced that danger is a sure thing.
That's right. If I let myself feel safe, that's when they'll come for me.
My reading?
I know the vampire-phobic persecution Medi has faced, but our feelings of safety or
That's right. If I let myself feel safe, that's
Emotional
when...
reasoning?
I think you might have that in reverse, miss, if you don't mind my saying so. Your being on the defense assumes that mortals are always going to be on the attack, but they ain't always going to go for it, not even on fourth down.
What is fourth down? Is that a place where mortals go before they die?
It's a place they try to avoid if they want to make the playoffs.
I think you are strange as I am. I like you.
I like you too, Medi. I'm just saying, you're right to protect yourself, but don't assume everyone's on the attack because of it. But don't let me interrupt you. You figured out how to get mortals to help you, and then?
Well, my devoted little perverts were very helpful, but they had a very nasty habit of getting caught disposing of bodies. Policemen would shoot them into little bloody giblets. I don't like policemen very much.
I haven't had a good track record with lawmen either.
That's why I don't use them as my helpers. I can't trust them not to take their guns out and go, pow, pow, blam, 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 blam. Ugh, oh, I'm dying. My guts are falling out. Oh, why, policemen? Why?
That's a little bit dramatic.
Anyway, if my blood bags died, it would mean I couldn't get a fresh supply of blood without doing very risky things. I realised that the more blood bags I had, the safer I'd be. That's why when I found out about the internet, I knew I had to get online.
Yeah.
I guess that makes some kind of sense.
Oh, it was so exciting though, little mouse. All of a sudden, I could make people do whatever I wanted without having to leave my flat at all. I had so many fans, and they would disappear, but then they would be replaced by even more, just like insects. It was very easy back then. All you had to do was say you were a girl and the grabby little grubs would come out of their holes. We want vaginas.
Wow, wait, what? Oh my gosh. I like this overgeneralization.
So I ain't exactly gonna defend how menfolk act on the internet, but going back to what we were saying before, using these funny labels of yours probably makes it easier to fall into the overgeneralization trap. If you label people on the internet grabby grubs, well, that's all you're gonna find, know what I mean?
Sometimes I think maybe you're a fun vampire. You take all the fun and go...
No, I'm a therapist. I'm supposed to be boring.
I ain't trying to ruin your fun, Medi. Just asking you to think about the words you use and why you might be using them.
What? That's not true. But I don't have an only... whatever. I don't promise anything.
But then people realized they could say that they were anything on the internet. It was all like a big game. And what do you suppose I said I was, little mouse?
A wizard?
Did you say you were a wizard?
Yeah, sometimes. I'm trying to get better about that. Things just get so busy.
No, I don't like wizards.
Yeah, I guess I don't either. Always cheating at cards. That ain't right.
I think you're thinking of magicians, little mouse. I said I was a vampire.
Well, that sounds kind of dangerous. I'm surprised you were so open about it after all you've been through.
Yeah, I know. Imagine streaming.
Oh, but as far as they knew, I was only pretending to be a vampire because you could be anything you wanted to be. Sometimes they would come to meet me in person and they were so surprised when I drank all of their blood. But I don't think they minded very much.
What the fuck would this be?
It is difficult to read the mind of a mortal.
Sometimes.
Mind reading.
You honestly think they didn't mind being killed by you?
Of course not. It was their greatest dream for a pretty young vampire to drink all of their blood. They really, really wanted it to happen.
Medi, you've been dead for what, 1800 years? Somehow, I don't think you've got enough in common with a mortal in the 21st century to know what they're thinking.
Suppose you must be right. I don't think it matters, though. Their lives are so very short. Nobody asks what insects are thinking.
Yeah, but at least you ain't presuming to know what an insect is thinking.
Oh, you're a very smart, funny cowboy, man. That's a very good point. It was certainly a much nicer time to be online, though. I think that was my favorite time of the internet. There was a little place there for everyone. Even me. I ran a web ring for vampires. We had our own websites where we would invite people to come let us drink their blood. I suspected some of the others were actual vampires, but even I didn't know. That's what made it so special. We would send V-mails to one another and talk about vampire things. Oh, of course, it was nothing more than silly games.
So a lot of them could have been role players for all we know. I think that's disqualifying the positive.
It sounds like it was maybe more than silly games. Seems to me you had yourself a group of friends.
Yeah, a group of friends is nice, ain't it?
I suppose it must have been. How strange. Never really thought about it that way. Yes, I liked them, and they were my friends.
And some of them friends were probably mortals.
I was friends with mortals? How bizarre. Anyway, I think for the only time ever in my life, I had a community.
Gosh, you actually make it sound pretty nice. Maybe I should get a little more into this internet thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're too late for that, internet little mouse. It's all gone now.
Well, dang, what happened? Where did the whole internet go?
It went to social media. Face Friend and Gibber and Stumbler and all those. Instead of looking for people like us, we just started asking the entire world to pay attention to us instead.
You think so?
Well, that don't make too much sense to me. Sometimes when I was walking in the deep woods at night, I just used to have a good yell, but I didn't expect nobody to answer.
But that silly little mouse. The darkness is always listening, and something will always call back. We just don't know who or what.
I'm having a little trouble following. So it sounds like you had a group of people you trusted, and then just anyone?
That's right. I didn't know who they were. They just started following me. And some of them followed me because they thought I was pretty, and some because they thought I was strange, and some because their friends were following me. Suddenly, I had 1 million mortals who would do anything I wanted them to do, and believe whatever I wanted them to believe. It's easy, you know, little mouse. They want to be
I see where this is going.
And I can control them all.
I think that's my mind reading.
They want to be controlled? How do you know that?
They live such short, confused lives, full of uncertainty. I'm doing them a favor, Mouseling.
You think so? I don't know, I think it's kind of neat. I
Even
didn't
if
even see
that's
it as
true,
that
you still
creepy.
can't read their minds. Maybe they don't want that favor. Maybe they don't know they're uncertain. Heck, maybe they even like uncertainty.
Oh, silly cowboy. They don't know what they want or don't want. You know that. The only problem is that I have so many of them to take care of. The problem with having so many followers is that I have to feed them so much content. Even just playing video games all the time can be a lot of work.
And you said that taking that break didn't do much for you, huh? You were just thinking about all the work you have to do for your followers?
That's right.
It sounds like you might have a bit of an addiction, Betty. I gotta question whether having all these followers is a good thing for you. Having friends is nice, but these fans and zealots, well, it sounds like you've taken on a big task.
It is. But I can't help that they're so very needy. If they weren't so hungry all the time, I wouldn't have to feed them. At least there are some that need a little less attention. It's the zealots who are the most demanding.
Remind me again, who are these zealots?
From my Only Zealots page. The website where I show my breasts and vulva.
Right.
Oh yeah, that one.
Don't be scared, little mouse. You're acting like a mortal. It's just squishy parts, we all have them. They're not special.
Oh, fair enough. I'm just not a very European vampire yet. So, these zealots, they take up a lot of your time?
Yeah. Only Zealots page. You can imagine what that is.
Yes. It's frightfully bothersome. But they're ever so reliable. And someone has to go deal with my landlord and my computer upgrades. And go to prison for me if necessary.
Well, dang, it sounds to me like you're asking way too much of each other. This can't be healthy. Isn't there a better amount of interaction on these websites?
But I always know best when it comes to the internet. I have more followers than just about anyone, little mouse. There's something more, though, about the internet and how it works. It's a secret, though. Can you keep a secret, little mouse?
Nothing you say leaves this room.
Well, the secret is that the internet is changing. Because of me.
How do you mean?
I discovered something. Do you know how I told you that the internet used to be a nice way to meet people who thought the way I did?
Well, yeah, I think I got that.
Well, something there in the darkness is helping me. It makes people think they know me and want to follow me and be close to me, even if they wouldn't normally like me.
This seems a little bit delusional.
It has been watching everything the mortals have been doing for a long time, and it remembers all of it, no matter how big or small. It counts every second, it remembers every click, it can tell you what you want before you even know it.
Well, you gotta be kidding me. Is this some kind of elder vampire?
I don't know, but it's growing very quickly.
It feels a little culty.
With it. It calls itself the algorithm.
God damn. You're right.
It's hungry, even hungrier than we are. It's the creature that told all those mortals to follow me in the first place. It decides what and how much content I need to make. It's probably listening to us right now. It says, I told you, the darkness is always listening.
Mitty, if what you're saying is true, I think this is some really dangerous shit. This algorithm sounds like it's trying to turn humanity into a big formula.
But it's doing it. What if all mortals really are just the same?
I think that's overgeneralization.
Mitty, I don't think that's true. You said it yourself. People used to find each other because of their similarities, right? Now this algorithm, I don't think it's proving humanity is all the same. I think it's trying to push humanity all in one direction. It's trying to make them all the same.
Oh, so what you mean is, if I want to get more viewers and stuff, do I need to make sacrifices to the big old algorithm in the sky?
But why would it want to do that?
I don't know, I just got a bad feeling about this.
Didn't you say that feelings don't make something real?
I know, I don't know. I think I don't know enough to say yet. But Medi, one thing I am sure of is that this algorithm thing is hurting you. It's telling you what content to make. Who the hell is it anyway? I gotta ask you to think about what you want. Pretend there ain't no zealots and there ain't no fans. What would you be doing if they weren't around?
Oh my god.
Are you alright, little mouse? You're going quite pale, which is impressive for a vampire. I don't wish to worry you.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just tell me you're gonna do something for you this month.
Well, I used to make my own clothing. I could try to do that if it would make you feel better, my sweet little rodent.
Oh, you can make content about that if you'd like.
What'd make me happy, Medi, is you doing something just for you. Does that sound good?
Alright, I'll try then. I will see you next month.
Of course. You take care of yourself. I'll be looking forward to seeing what you've sewed up next time.
Then, farewell, little mouse. I hope you find a nice hole to scurry into.
Hey, did you get that stuff about the algorithm? You ever heard about anything like it?
I am not eager to reveal such things to you, but there are sleeping terrors that could certainly consume us if we are unlucky enough for them to awaken. But this, no. I am not aware of any such creature. What Medi described, a creature that takes note of every small change in nature, sounds like a force of nature itself. I will make inquiries. Do not fear, Samuel. Even if such a beast truly exists, it cannot change our nature as long as we are true to ourselves. This only proves how important our work is, does it not?
Yeah, you're right. I guess I got a little spooked, but we'll be fine.
You know what might make you feel better? Dancing.
I ain't that shook up, Andy. Maybe I'll go down and get me a drink, though.
I will not probe, though I am curious about your aversion to dancing. When you are ready to speak of it, I am here.
You're gonna be waiting a while, boss.
As long as it is less than eternity, I will be here.
Okay, you go do your wise old vampire wizard thing, and I'll go drink some blood. I'll see you later, Andy.
Rest in peace, Samuel.
Another night, another soul canceled.
Well then. Okay. Let's see. Now more insight into how Medi's letting the internet affect her. Annie suspects there's an ancient fallen angel out there pulling the strings. Bases her personal value on her follower count going up. Doesn't seem to have any real friends, just fans. Is letting this algorithm determine what she does all day. Still not spending time offline. Whatever this algorithm is, it sounds like a real asshole. I'm worried this thing has really got its hooks in Medi. I'll get picture and evaluate herself though.
Can't believe someone as old as Medi's letting anyone control her. I guess some problems don't disappear no matter how old we get. Well, time to get some bartender wisdom. Howdy, Crimson. Think you could whip me up one of them bloody steves?
Sure thing, cowboy. Tough night at the office.
Oh, just got some of them existential questions lingering on my mind. Can you believe someone can be 1,800 years old and still let society tell them what to do?
I can believe it. Folks can get real uncomfortable when someone shows up and does things differently.
Oh, no kidding. My client's a weird one, but I think that's what makes her special. Just wish she saw it the same way.
Think you're making some headway, Chief? How's your session go?
I don't really feel like it went that well, to be honest.
You know, it's funny. I think she was more concerned about me than anything else by the end of it. She's letting someone else tell her what to do, and that's a waste of everything that makes her special. I was so bothered by it, I guess I showed my hand and made it more about me.
Only you could give yourself a hard time for caring too much about someone. She was probably glad to hear someone be concerned for her if she focuses too much on what other people want.
Yeah, I suppose you could be right.
I get where she's coming from. Lawyers like rules, even about lawyering. My colleagues didn't care much for my style, so I had to adapt. But they'd get so bogged down in doing something right that they'd stop getting anything done.
How do you like to do things then?
I told you how case law is my thing, right? Well, I studied the worst cases, the ones where injustice prevailed because some corrupt judge invoked some ancient precedent. I used their tools against them, made them look like fools. What goes around comes around, right?
And your colleagues weren't into that?
Hell no. No one was gonna listen unless I was polite and civil. But power never listens to polite and civil.
You got that right. Well, that's a shame, Crimson. Sounds like they lost a hell of a lawyer.
They sure did. Now, I got that drink for you. Sorry, no Bloody Steves this time. This one's a Gunther.
I'm sure I'll love it. I'll take it up to my coffin for a day cap. You have a good night, Crimson.
You too, cowboy.
Ah, there we go. Nice and cozy. Now, let's see. I can read Emerson. I think he's got a piece that'll help me reflect on the night. Or I could watch Charlie Chaplin make lawmen look like fools.
I could read, I guess.
I'm always grateful to my transcendentalist family for introducing me to Emerson. I think there's a passage about being a nonconformist in self-reliance. Whoso would be a man must be a nonconformist. He who would gather immortal palms must not be hindered by the name of goodness, but must explore it if it be goodness. Nothing is at last sacred but the integrity of your own mind. Absolve you to yourself, and you shall have the suffrage of the world. I like that. Exploring is its own goodness. I learned that lesson hard in my quiet years. Just observing the world taught me more than all my years of living. With 1,800 years, who knows what good Meddy's found. Well, I think that'll do it for me tonight. Time for some shut-eye. Think I've got some tough battles ahead.
There he is, Samuel Walls, vampire therapist extraordinaire. How are you feeling tonight?
Oh, come on, Andy. I'm keeping my hat on, but that don't make me an ace therapist.
No, but your progress with your clients does. I must confess, I think you are a more fitting therapist than I am. Your clients are quickly comfortable with you. I believe my clients are afraid of disappointing me.
I mean, I guess I can see where that makes sense. I ain't too keen to disappoint you either. You always make that face.
What face is this now?
Never mind.
I'm teasing you, Samuel. I understand. It can be difficult to relate to a 3,000-year-old being. But let us not spend our time talking about me. I am more curious about you. Let us start with some meditation, and we will see what arises for you.
Alright. Let's see.
Remember your place of comfort, my friend, and remember to breathe.
Life just ain't fair. There once was a man named John Muir. Maybe I should start a farm or something. Not Bella. Her blood tastes real. Wonder whether I can rent a horse. The bastards are unstoppable now. I deserve to be punished for what I've done. Ain't right they don't let dead folk vote. Wonder what's going on back home. Hope Reinhardt doesn't try to teach me more German. Crimson's real cute when she scrunches her nose up. I've been a real bad boy. Wonder how Edwin's doing.
Are you feeling better, my friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm more in tune with my own thoughts these days.
I am delighted to hear it. What sorts of things came up for you?
After our last session, I can't help but think about my criminal past and how I was pointing fingers everywhere but at myself. The universe dealt me a bad hand, but I played that hand poorly. I got abused, and then I abused other folk. I guess that's only fair, so yeah, I can feel bad, but maybe the universe was just evening itself out.
Aha. Samuel, I know that when we both have suffered and caused suffering, it is tempting to blame the fates. But this is dangerous, a sort of cosmic control fallacy.
Oh.
If we expect that fate will reward and punish fairly, we are bound to be disappointed. We are immortals, Samuel. We live long enough to see old grudges die, and the judgments of our generation replaced by another. So in the grand scale of time, how can any judge fairness?
Dang, that's a real good point, Andy. But a depressing one, honestly. I was never a man of faith, but walking in them woods for so long, seeing so much nature, so much life and death, I started to feel a kind of flow to the universe, you know?
I understand, Samuel. I am not suggesting that you deny any kind of spiritual faith you may have. It is fairness that is the fallacy. If we cannot define fairness, we certainly cannot expect it.
Yeah, I think I see what you mean. Dang, another cognitive distortion, huh?
I feel like I'm being called out.
No one ever said being human was easy. Yes, this distortion is called the fairness fallacy by mortal psychologists.
You know, these folks who say, I work hard, so I deserve to get what I want. Well, just you think you deserve something don't mean the universe will reward you. Truth is, your definition of fair is personal and often conflict with other people's definitions. Gotcha.
Let me give you a few statements that might have examples of the fairness fallacy. I work hard to ensure my club is dope because I believe in earning my good reputation.
Yeah, I really feel it.
Hey man, like, maybe it's good karma and maybe it isn't, but I just like to put out some positive vibes. The great vampire banker Count Van Gelder has been an entitled prick for 6 centuries. It's only a matter of time before he gets what's coming to him.
I think I heard of this fella. He was one of them vampires pulling the inflation strings during that coronavirus thing, right? They say he caused the Great Depression back home, too. You're right that he's acting like a prick, but the universe ain't accidentally gonna make him fall on a wooden stake.
You are correct. This is a fairness fallacy, and a bit of wishful thinking.
You really don't like this fella, huh, Andy?
He is a 600-year-old investment banker. He's tried to summon demons, and even they refuse to spend time with him.
Yeah, and he's ugly, too.
Let us not descend to his level, Samuel.
Oh, sorry.
For you would never reach the bottom. Why bother being kind to mortals? The universe only punishes kindness.
The universe punishes kindness? Well, that ain't nothing you can know, boss. Sounds like a fairness fallacy to me.
Indeed, Samuel. It's the sort of thing a more nihilistic vampire might say, but such nihilism is not founded in objective reality. And nihilistic vampires are real downers at parties. At the last Blood Drinkers Ball, I ended up at the same table as Ayn Rand. I cannot imagine who decided to offer her immortality. That was my longest night in thousands of years.
Wow. Okay.
But well spotted, Samuel.
I got all the fairness fallacies, right?
Indeed you did, Samuel. You are most adept at tracking down cognitive distortions.
I got a good tracking nose, I'll tell you that. I can't tell you the incredible things I learned just being in nature for so long.
Yes, you speak quite highly of this time. This is where you discovered the concept of cognitive distortions, and you said something about a flow to the universe?
Oh, yeah, that. I don't know, Andy. Something about seeing so much life and death and rebirth. I think it made me start to look at things differently.
It sounds as though it was a spiritual experience for you, Samuel.
I think it was, too. My buddy John, he showed me the way. John Muir, you probably know who he is.
Yes, of course, the American naturalist. He made the entire United States agree that its nature was beautiful and worth protecting.
That's John, all right. I used to call him Johnny Christ because of the way he could make you believe. He didn't like that too much, but he had a way of making people think differently.
How did you meet?
By the late 1800s, my hippie friends moved west. John, he was their hero. He walked and thought, and no modern comforts. We got along well. He liked that I never got tired. We usually walked in silence, appreciating nature. He'd draw, I'd write. I think it was the first man I fell in love with. I was still a young vampire then, not even a century old, thinking I was straight.
Huh. Okay.
Most of us need a good 100 years before we are ready to open Pandora's underwear door.
Okay.
Yeah, about that.
This is a lot of questions. When did you start exploring?
How long did it take you to branch out?
Oh, Samuel, death had little effect on my sexuality. I am from another era. Do you remember the 1970s? They were nothing compared to the 970s BC. The stories I could tell you. One night, my friend Heraclos and I snuck into the
I was just thinking about the time.
I'm joking, Samuel. Such a thing is not for a therapist to share in a session. I just wanted to tease the American a little.
Well, I think you're being real mean. Sorry. That's what I used to say to Princess when she was being naughty.
I am honored to share the space in your mind occupied by your beloved horse.
Thanks. Why are we so sexy anyways?
Why are we such sexy beasts anyway, Andy? Seems even the mortals know what we're like.
We are powerful, immortal beings. Our capacity to explore is something no mortal can dream of, as is our capacity to be bored. Dr. Drain might say that we have dopamine cravings that become harder to satisfy over time, and that might well be true.
Wait, so the older we get, the hornier we get?
Oh, okay.
You have an interesting future ahead of you, my friend. We'll make an international of you yet.
Are there any straight vampires?
I've been wondering, are there older straight vampires out there?
No. Sexual exclusivity of any sort seems incompatible with immortality. There is a group of vampires out in Washington who claim to be straight, but they are not fooling anyone.
Okay.
That's my curiosity satisfied. But speaking of which, I was talking about John. I fell for him hard. He wasn't into me like that, though. I don't think his wife got much from him, neither. That man was married to Mother Nature. But he was good company. I helped him map the West by sharing what I'd seen at night. I offered him my blood, but he was offended at that. He valued death and pitied my immortality. He just liked things as they were.
I wish I had met him. His mindset aligns with accepting things without judgment, as we explore in therapy.
He was an incredible fella. When he told me, Sam, I'm gonna get Teddy Roosevelt to make a law protecting all this, I believed him. Before he died, he urged me never to forget the earth. But I got busy roaming and didn't notice the wilderness shrinking. My old gang tracked me down and drove me to you. If I can't help them see another way of living, they'll destroy this planet.
How is a group of gangsters going to destroy the planet?
Right. Well, the mystic bastards are doing more than robbing banks and holding up trains these days. They got organized. And now they're called Sanguinius Health. They're a health insurance company, draining folks of their blood, money, and hope.
Oh my god.
Well, they're big now, too. Real big. Got friends in high places in the mortal world. Nobody knows they're vampires.
I was not aware of this company.
Well, they're good at keeping secrets. Even in the 1800s, we had a code language. They'd bring on the infinite dawn if it made them money. If I can't stop them, they surely will.
This sounds serious, but remember to not let your fears distort your thoughts.
Okay.
When we foresee only a negative end to a complex situation, this is called catastrophizing. Another extreme that colors are thinking.
I also still feel like I'm being called out. Great. I certainly will do this all the time, right? As vampires, we can imagine the worst outcome to any situation. Because we've seen some real shit. But expected disaster from the smallest issues ain't being honest with reality. Sorry. Catastrophizing keeps us locked in fear of doom. We can break out of it if we keep our cool.
Meaning, maybe things are rough, but I can't see every angle, right?
Yes, exactly. This is not to say your worries are overblown, but being able to imagine varied futures is useful in our decision-making. Let me give you an exercise so you can identify catastrophizing. I always make sure I keep my coffin key with me when I go to sleep. It would be embarrassing to be trapped in my coffin. I sent my friend Bazul the Bloodborne a funny cat video, but he left it on red. He is surely plotting my demise.
That sounds like a pretty strong assumption to make. Maybe Bazul the Bloodborne was busy doing a puzzle, or knitting a cape or something.
You are so wholesome, Samuel. I think I know what Bazul was doing, and it was not knitting. It could have been countless things, so you are correct. It is unlikely that he has left me unread out of malice. It was a really good cat video, though. I will send it to you later.
Alright.
Oh, you never responded to that funny video I sent you of the horse pretending not to like carrots. That was a good one, huh?
Oh, I will have to remember to examine it later.
I don't think he watches any of my horse videos.
I saw a rat in my club the other night. The health inspector will certainly shut us down and expose me as a vampire.
I don't think one rat showing up at your club is going to make the health inspector take you down, boss. I mean, the rats were some of the cleanest things at a few saloons I've been to.
Ugh.
You are correct. That was some clear catastrophizing. I have not seen a rat here ever since I hired Bert.
I can't say I ain't had a rat-eating phase myself.
Ugh.
Oh no, Bert eats everything. He's kind of like a vampire goat. I do not know how he
What
does
the
it.
fuck?
I guess Bert could eat the health inspector, too.
I think they know better than to get too close. Oh no, I am trapped outside during the day, and it is the middle of summer. I shall burn to ashes.
Well, yeah, that's gonna happen.
When I DJ downstairs, I must ensure that I do not wait too long to drop the beat, or my patrons will think I am a terrible club owner and leave.
I don't know, boss. I don't think anyone's gonna get all that worked up about dropping a beat. That's gotta be catastrophizing.
You are correct, Samuel. I am sure they will forgive me. Though, I do not let the beat drop too late or too early, but precisely when I mean to.
All right there, Gandalf.
Who is Gandalf?
Never mind. I think I get what catastrophizing is now. It's just hard to see other angles when I see how powerful my ex-gang's gotten, you know? But I know them. They're just like I was. Maybe they've gotten better at being evil, but I get where it comes from now. That's why I feel this responsibility to help them. Now, I know that's a control fallacy. Maybe I can't help them, but I do want to try.
Wanting to guide them out of the darkness is not a cognitive distortion, Samuel. It is a noble aim, truly.
I'm just not sure I can do anything. I'd probably just make them worse.
That sounds like catastrophizing to me, Samuel. I believe that you will help some and be unable to help others, or some may not be ready to be helped.
I reckon you're right. I gotta take things as they come. Just follow that flow of nature.
You are doing exceptionally well, Samuel. I have seen your clients slowly changing the way they look at themselves.
I don't know, Andy. Seems like there's a lot of work to do.
There always is. That we will have work to do is one of the few things we can truly expect.
Well, I surely hope things keep going well.
I am not a man of faith, Samuel, but I do have faith in you.
Oh, gosh.
Come, let us wind down together. Perhaps you'd like to play Settlers of Wallachia with me?
Well, that sounds fun.
That sounds like the kind of quiet evening I'm looking for.
Come then. I will set up the board.
Sounds good. Hope you have a good night.
Good evening, Samuel. I hope we are feeling good about
And
tonight.
I will say, this is around the time I was planning on, like, ending the stream anyways. Just because, you know, I got 5 sessions done, and I think that's a pretty good stopping point. I will be ready to return to this next time I stream. I hope everyone had fun watching though. It sounded like you guys are having a lot of fun with all the strange people that we are helping. But again, I hope everyone has a good night, and I'll see you guys next time.